Welcome. So what I'd like to do is kind of explain to you what do you need to know to be able to solve two-step equations for the course. So the first thing you need to know is how to solve one-step equations. And because one-step equation is like the foundation of solving our linear equations. So if you do not know how to solve one-step equations or you're not very strong on it, please go through that course and make sure you have all the foundation, because in there we go through isolating, inverse operations, properties of equality, solution, and everything else you need to know. So everything is contained in that one-step equations. And I'm not going to go back over everything again for two-step equations. As long as you know how to solve one-step equations and you understand the process and what you're doing and why you're doing it, then that's good enough for us to solve two-step equations. The next thing we need to know for two-step equations is our order of operations. And the very familiar way that we remember order of operations, it would be PEMDAS, where when we're looking into, and this becomes very important, because we're not actually going to be using, we are going to be using order of operations, but we're actually going to be using the reverse order of operations, which I'll explain in a second. So the main important thing, though, is when we are simplifying an expression, we apply the order of operations. We always simplify inside the parentheses first. Then we look at the powers or the exponents. Then we look at, then we apply multiplication and division. And then we do addition and subtraction. But remember, when we're solving, we're not simplifying. We are using inverse operations, right? So when we have a two-step equation, rather than a one-step, which is just one operation, you just apply the inverse operation. Two-step equations, we're going to have two operations we're going to have to undo. So it becomes important now, which operation do we do first? And what we do is we use the reverse order of operations. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo addition and subtraction first. Then we're going to undo multiplication and division. And again, we undo by using our inverse operation. So remembering order of operations is very helpful, especially when we get into multi-step equations. But for right now, for two-step equations, just understanding that we're going to be using the reverse order of operations. And we're going to undo addition and subtraction first. And then we undo multiplication and division. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is just the basics of what you need to know to solve two-step equations. Thanks.